All right, good afternoon. We'll go ahead and call to order the regular meeting for the City of Murfreesboro Board of Zoning Appeals for February 25th, 24th, 2015. First item on the agenda is the consideration of minutes from our regular meeting of January 28, 2015. Those minutes are included with our agenda materials. Any corrections to those minutes? If not, they'll stand approved as presented, and we'll consider new business. We have just signed variance requests. First one there is application S15006 by Mr. Randy Adcock of Cook Neon Sign for Sonic Restaurant. He is requesting a variance from the sign ordinance that prohibits a sign placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement, and this is for property located at 1129 Fortress Boulevard. All right, Ms. Kerr, if you'd review that application for us, please.
Thank you, Chairman Rogers, members of the board. The applicant, Randy Adcock, with Cook Neon Signs, representing Tim Dietz, the owner of Sonic Drive-In, is requesting a variance from Section 25 1/4 A22 of the City of Murfreesboro sign ordinance, which prohibits a sign placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement without the consent of the easement holders and BZA approval. The sign, of course, is located at 1129 Fortress Boulevard and is within the Gateway District Overlay 1 zone. The applicant is requesting permission to erect one internally illuminated freestanding wall sign with 45 square foot of display area and overall height of 8 foot, and it will have an opaque background. The sign will be located within a 20-foot public utility easement. A sign for a Murfreesboro Water and Sewer Building Codes and letters of approval have been received from Atmos Energy, AT&T, and CUD. CUD has agreed to the current sign location with a required 10-foot separation from the water line. And due to the sensitivity of placement of the sign in regards to the utility lines, staff requires that the sign be located by a Tennessee registered engineer or surveyor, and that form of certification of sign placement be provided prior to permitting. The applicant will comply with all other setbacks and regulations, and Mr. Bobby Arnold with Sonic, as well as myself, are in attendance to answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Kerr? All right, Mr. Arnold, anything you'd like to add to your application?
No, sir.
All right, then at this time we'll conduct a public hearing. Anyone present wishing to speak for or against this application, if you would please come forward. Seeing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Open the floor for further discussion or motion.
No further questions. I'll make a motion to approve the sign variance.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Arnold, that application has been approved. All right, we'll next consider application S15007 by Mr. Kevin Newell for Newellberg Holdings and for Burger King Restaurant. He, too, is requesting a variance from the city ordinance which prohibits a sign placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement. And this is for property located at 2407 New Salem Highway. Ms. Kerr.
Thank you, Chairman Rogers. The applicant, Matt Taylor with SEC, Inc., representing Newellberg Holdings, LLC, Tennessee, is requesting a variance from Section 25 1/4, 24A22 of the City of Murfreesboro sign ordinance, which prohibits a sign placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement without the consent of the easement holder and Board of Zoning Appeals approval. The sign location is at 2407 New Salem Highway and is within a commercial fringe zone. The applicant is requesting permission to erect one internally illuminated freestanding wall sign with 64 square foot display area and an overall height of 25 feet. The sign will be located within a 10-foot public utility easement. The agreement for a sign in a city easement has been signed by the Murfreesboro Water and Sewer Department, the Director of Building Codes, the City Engineer, and the Murfreesboro Electric. An agreement for a sign in an easement has also been submitted by AT&T, Comcast, and Atmos Energy with no objections to the sign placement. Consolidated Utility District did submit an agreement for the sign to be installed within the easement with a 10-foot setback from the water lines. And this sign will also have to have a sign placement certification prior to permitting. The applicant will comply with all other setbacks and regulations, and Mr. Taylor is in attendance, as well as myself, if you have any questions.
All right, any questions from Ms. Kerr? All right, Mr. Taylor, anything you'd like to add to your application? At this time, we'll conduct a public hearing. Anyone present wishing to speak for or against this application, if you would please come forward. Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Open the floor for further discussion or motion.
If there are no further discussion, then I would move to approve the application.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mr. Taylor, that application's been approved. And now we'll consider application S15008 by Mr. Dennis Vest of Jarvis Sign Company for Schwann Cosmetics. This is for property located at 3202 Elam Farms Parkway. First, a variance from the sign ordinance that prohibits a sign placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement. And secondly, a variance from the sign ordinance that allows single-tenant buildings, 3 attached signs, provided that no single attached sign shall exceed 2 square feet per linear foot of building frontage or no greater than 150 square feet. All right, Ms. Kerr.
Thank you, Chairman Rogers. The applicant, Denise Vest with Jarvis Sign Company, representing Tom Byrne with Swan Cosmetics, is requesting 2 variances for properties located within a light industrial zone at 3202 Elam Farms Parkway. The requests include a variance from Section 25 1/4, 24A22 of the City of Murfreesboro Sign Ordinance, which prohibits a foundation or sign placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement without the consent of the easement holders and Board of Zoning Appeals approval. The second variance is a variance from Section 25 1/4, 26C 4B2 of the City of Murfreesboro Sign Ordinance, which allows single-tenant buildings, 3 attached signs, provided that no single attached sign shall exceed 2 square foot per linear foot of building frontage and no greater than 150 square feet. The first variance, this is a site that is on 2 road frontages at Veterans Parkway and Elam Farms Parkway. It is a 25-acre lot with a 171,000 square foot building. The applicant is requesting permission to erect 1 internally illuminated freestanding wall sign with 80 square foot of display area and an overall size of 225 square feet and an overall height of 11 foot. The proposed sign would be located at the entrance to the site at the intersection of Veterans Parkway and Elam's Farm Parkway. The sign will be located within a 65-foot consolidated utility water easement which runs the entire length of the property at that location. An agreement for a sign in a CUD easement has been signed by CUD's project coordinator as well as the Director of Building and Codes. The agreement also requires that the footing be located at least 10 foot from the existing water line. And due to the sensitivity of the placement of the footer in regards to the water line, the sign will be required to be located by a Tennessee registered engineer or surveyor and a certification of placement provided prior to permitting. The applicant will comply with all other setbacks and regulations for the ground sign. The second variance is...
Do we want to?
wanna vote on the
Obviously,
first
we need
one?
to vote on these separately. Do we
Correct.
want to go ahead and consider these now? For example, go ahead and vote on the first component. Okay. Okay. So, as far as this request for a variance for the sign placed in or over a drainage easement, are there any questions for Ms. Kerr on that?
I just have a point of clarity. The staff comments that refers to Veterans Parkway, and it should be Joby Jackson Parkway.
Thank you. All right. Is there a representative here from Schwann or from?
Yes, Mr. Farrer.
Farrer, representing Jarvis Signs.
Okay. Anything you would like to add to your application, sir?
Thank you all for your consideration.
All right. Thank you. And then at this time, well, I guess we need to conduct a public hearing. We can do it separately. I don't think there's any. We'll go ahead and conduct a public hearing as far as the first component here on the issue of whether it can be placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement. Anyone present wishing to speak for or against the application as to that point? And seeing no one, declare the public hearing closed as to that matter and open the floor for further discussion or motion on that part of this application.
If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve Part 1 of this application dealing with the sign located in the public utility easement.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Ms. Kerr. We'll go ahead now and hear about the second part of
The
this application.
second variance, this is a single-tenant occupant with 171,000 square foot of building area. The building is located 260 foot from Elam Farm Parkway and has 332 foot of building frontage. The applicant is requesting a variance for an increase in the size of a single sign from 150 square foot to 171 square foot. All attached signage will be push-through style illumination and meets all other setbacks and requirements. The City of Murfreesboro Sign Ordinance, Section 25 1/4 6, states that a condition of a variance that if it does not violate the limits set forth in 25 1/4 29E, which defines an attached sign as a nuisance if it exceeds the signable area and height by 15% or more. This request would be less than 15% increase. Each variance request, of course, would have to have a separate motion, and Mr. Farrer is here to answer any questions that you may have, as well as myself.
Okay. Any questions from Ms. Kerr on this one?
So this is just trying to get as big a sign under the maximum and then within the 15%.
Yes,
All
sir.
that's really trying to do. Okay.
150 square foot is as large as it could be. 172 is a 15% increase, and they're requesting 171.
Is the purpose of the request just so they can have a bigger sign?
It was the design of the sign that they had gone through the processes of getting the sign formatted, to be able to have it made, and it was allowed to have a 15% increase, so we told them they could ask for the variance.
Okay. But they probably are aware that they have to prove there are certain conditions.
Well, due to the fact that the sign is so far off the road and the frontage of the building is so large in comparison to what the frontage of the building is, the sign does have a compatible view of the sign. The other two signs that they asked for were 69 square feet and I believe 76 square feet on the sides of the buildings. This was at the entrance of their building and the largest portion of the front part of their building.
Could the other two signs have been up to 150 square feet?
Yes.
But you're saying those are 69 and something else?
68 and 76, I think, was the actual size of the other two signs. So they actually could have had 450 square foot of signage, which they're well under that. It's just this one sign at the entrance. And the visibility from the road, the distance from the road, is the reason that they request to be further back off. The other two signs are 67 square foot and 37 square foot.
Okay. How far off the road is this sign?
This particular sign is at the 260 foot from Elam Farm Road.
I think you're talking about
it's probably 700 foot from Veterans Parkway.
But
from Joby Jackson Parkway.
I think that you're talking about the building area is 260 feet but the sign's not.
The sign, that is actually to the sign, because we measure everything from the road to where the sign's going to be. So that it's 171 square foot of building, 171,000 square foot of building area with a 332-foot frontage, but it is located, the sign itself would be located 260 foot from the right-of-way.
This is a sign that's actually placed on the building, not a separate sign that's in front of the building?
Correct. It's on the building.
Okay. So there's a picture of a monument sign that's in our agenda materials, but that's not what that's not
no,
the 150.
No, sir. This one is
we're
actually, there should be some additional pictures maybe on a back page that you have that actually shows this It's this drawing. Yeah, and this is the actual front of the building, and it's not even showing the complete size of the building with the sign placed in the corner of that facade there.
All right. Any other questions from Ms. Kerr? All right. Mr. Fair, anything you'd like to add to your application?
No, thank you.
All right. At this time, we'll conduct a public hearing on this part of the application. Anyone present wishes to speak for or against this part of the application? And if seeing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed and open the floor for further discussion or motion.
If there is no further discussion, then I would move to approve the application for the second variance.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Fair, that application then has been approved in its entirety.
Thank you for your approval, Board.
All right, now we'll consider application S15009 by Mr. Dennis Vest for Jarvis Sign Company. And this is for tire discounters. They are requesting a variance from the sign ordinance that prohibits a sign placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement. And this is for property located at 2922 Medical Center Parkway. Ms. Kerr.
Thank you, Chairman. The applicant, Denise Vest with Jarvis Sign Company, representing Tire Discounters, is requesting a variance from Section 25 1/4, 24A22 of the City of Murfreesboro sign ordinance, which prohibits a sign placed in or over a public utility or drainage easement without the consent of the easement holder and the Board of Zoning Appeals. The sign location is at 2922 Medical Center Parkway and is within a GDO 1 zone. The applicant is requesting permission to erect one freestanding wall signs with 50 square foot of display area with push-through style illumination on the upper 18 square foot of sign display area, and the bottom 32 square foot manual changeable copy sign area will not illuminate. The overall height of the sign will be 9 foot and will be located within a 40-foot public utility easement. The agreement for a sign in a city easement has been signed by the Murfreesboro Water and Sewer Department, Murfreesboro Electric Department, the Director of Building Codes, and letters of approval have been received from Atmos Energy, AT&T, and CUD. CUD has agreed to the current location of placement of the sign with a 10-foot required setback from their water line. Due to the sensitivity of the placement in regards to the utility line, staff requires that the sign be located on-site by a Tennessee registered engineer or surveyor, and that a form of certification of sign placement be provided prior to permitting. The applicant will comply with all other setbacks and regulations, and Mr. Dave Farrer is in attendance as well as myself to answer any questions that the board may have.
All right, any questions from Ms. Kerr? All right, Mr. Fair, anything you'd like to add to this application?
No, thank you.
All right, then at this time we'll conduct a public hearing. Anyone present wishing to speak for or against this application, if you would please come forward. Seeing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed and open the floor for further discussion or motion.
If no further discussions, I'll make a motion to approve the sign variance.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Fair, that application has been approved as well.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, I think that completes our agenda. Is there any staff reports and other business?
I don't have any.
Nothing? Nothing. All right. No other business? We're adjourned.